Coming soon, when it comes to ICP, I think there could very well be something that I would consider to be fundamentally amazing. Now, it's not in terms of the price because it's not doing good as of right now, even though it could be different moving forward, and I'll talk about later on in the video. But even though nothing I say is financial advice, Dominic recently made a post on X. Now, people may be thinking, okay, who's Dominic? I'm not talking about Dominic Mysterio from the WWE. I'm talking about a different Dominic. This one is the founder of Dfinity. So within this internet computer space, yeah, this is pretty interesting in my opinion. Because if we take a look at this, Dominic, again, not Dominic Mysterio, he recently made a post on X, and it says how once Caffeine AI users push their app's code to GitHub, ICP will absolutely dominate these stats. He says this feature is coming. Now, what does this even mean? Below the post, it shows like this attached like image, and it says how top 10 ecosystems by active developers in 2025. But if we take a look at the internet computer as of right now, it's doing pretty decent, right? Like, I mean, it is in this chart, right, overtaking Stellar within that specific category, again, in terms of top 10 ecosystems by active developers in 2025. At least this data is from January to September, again, of this year in 2025. So that's pretty impressive. I mean, it's overtaken Stellar so far. And this is supposedly, right, without this feature being there yet, again, like what I referenced before when it comes to the post. So if that feature becomes available, could the numbers become a lot better? Maybe. Could it beat out, let's say, the BNB chain, Sui, Polygon? Who knows, right? I mean, so then that's pretty impressive because, again, without even this feature, it's already overtaken Stellar. So that's very impressive, right? And also even Stacks, by the way, and Stacks is a Bitcoin layer 2, but besides that point, this is pretty impressive. Now, it's kind of a little bit below Polkadot. Kind of makes sense, though. Polkadot is a very massive project, is way more popular than ICP in my perspective. But, still pretty impressive that, again, without that feature, it's already being up there in terms of that statistic. Now, of course, if we take a look at something like Solana, something like Bitcoin, it is just very massive. But still, the internet computer being able to achieve that figure in and of itself, again, the figure that it has in this chart is 3,918. That's very impressive. Polkadot is just 4,062. It's not even that far off. The BNB chain is 4,073. Now, Sui's a little bit higher at 4,807. However, again, without that feature, even the internet computer is already up there. That's very impressive. Now, some people may be thinking, who cares about this? The price isn't doing good. Totally aware of that. But still, I think I can't just, ignore this even though the price is not doing good because I find this pretty impressive. Now, people like to say, oh, it's not the perfect timing and all this because, the price isn't doing good. But then at the same time, if I'm only caring about things when the price is doing good, that means I'm not really a fan of the project. I just kind of feel like at that point, I just like things doing good and maybe I don't really like the fundamentals, but I do in this case because when I take a look at the internet computer, I just kind of feel that when it comes to what it's been able to achieve so far, like for instance, what do I think is kind of the biggest thing that is surrounding kind of, the internet computer and kind of Dfinity? That is something called Caffeine AI, which a lot of people like to say, come on, again, it didn't really do much for the price of ICP. Take a look at it. The price is literally not doing that good. We haven't seen around $3 since like over a year ago. What do you mean by that? Totally aware of that. And actually, I am more excited about the fundamentals of the internet computer as of right now when compared to back then when the price was like, above $15, surprisingly, which I know it may seem kind of counterintuitive, but then within this space, the price going down sometimes isn't necessarily tied to just strictly the fundamentals. Now, let me explain why I think Caffeine AI is just a pretty impressive achievement in and of itself. Because, if let's say that happened, right, Caffeine AI, when the price was above $15, the amount of attention would be absolutely amazing. It'd be through the roof. But as of right now, just because the price isn't doing good, it's kind of ignored. And a lot of people like to say, oh, when it comes to Caffeine AI, it didn't really do much for the internet computer. Well, here's the thing. It's laying the groundwork. It's laying the foundation for maybe what the internet computer could be moving forward, right? It's like, for instance, I recently talked about Toshi and something called Zebek, or should I say ZBCN. They recently got pretty good listings. Like, for instance, Toshi was recently listed on OKX US, and we take a look at something like ZBCN recently on Kraken. But then sometimes you like to tell me, okay, those projects didn't really do much ever since that listing. Well, yeah, I mean, the altcoin space isn't doing the best. So then if I take a look at Caffeine AI, right, why would it suddenly make ICP do good if, let's say, the whole space overall isn't generally doing the best when it comes to altcoins, you know? It's just not the right timing. However, actually, in the grand scheme of things, I actually think it's perfect timing because the internet computer, they have no control. I think whatever happens to the price of ICP exactly at every single time. Like, I mean, how's that even possible? You know what I mean? Like, for instance, is ICP, or should I say the internet computer or even Dfinity, are they going to know what happens to the price of ICP in the next 10 minutes? Like, you know what I mean? Like, for instance, I cannot control the markets, right? So whatever happens to ICP in 5 minutes and 10 minutes and 5 days or 10 days, like, I mean, that's beyond my control. So I think same kind of goes here, where let's say they launch something, they announce something, like who knows what's going to happen at that price at that exact moment in time. But I think it's perfect timing nonetheless because it's laying down the groundwork for maybe what it could be moving forward. So I think in the grand scheme of things, it's actually perfect timing for the project, but not when it's being associated with the price. It's like, for instance, let's say Apple launches a new iPhone, right? When they launch an iPhone, are they going to know exactly what's going to happen to the markets at that time in terms of the economy, like just globally? I mean, that's kind of also not really within the control. You know what I mean, right? They're still going to be launching things, but is it going to be the perfect timing always? I think sometimes no, you know? So then I think it's kind of no different here. Now, when it comes to the idea of $100 when it comes to ICP, why haven't I given up on that? It's because not only I think Caffeine AI is a pretty big deal, I think in the grand scheme of things, especially if let's say there's an altcoin season, which we'll wait and see when exactly that will happen, if it ever even does during the cycle. But still, you know, $100 is around a 33x from here. Market cap is around 54 billion at that point, considering current circulating supply. I haven't given up on ICP. It was a lot harder for me to believe in ICP back then, but I still did. And now that I've seen kind of what it did not too long ago, reached over $15 without altcoin season. Granted, there's a pullback, but now I take a look at Caffeine AI. I take a look at how Bitcoin DeFi is powered by the internet computer. I take a look at the Solana and ICP integration. I simply just don't want to give up. This is the way to take a look at it. I'm not telling you to do anything, but I'm still staying patient, holding, and just waiting. And yeah, that's pretty much about it. And I want to say thank you for watching. I greatly appreciate it, and feel free to subscribe if you enjoyed this video. I'd also greatly appreciate that. I hope you all have a nice day. It's Willie the Captain, and I'll catch y'all on the next one. I'm out. Peace. Bye.